Captain's Log, Episode 26. This week's episode of the Beer Vengers podcast is sponsored by Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, located at 35-11 Ditmars Boulevard in Astoria, Queens. Enjoy the eclectic array of craft beer, artisanal cheeses, and specialty grocery items at Astoria Beer and Cheese Ditmars, home bar to yours truly, Captain Porter Brown Stout. On this week's installment, Captain, Huck, and Beer Wonder embrace the return of Motherpucker, with a total of 6 pours from 7 breweries, a freewheeling discussion about how music enhances beer. Or is it how beer enhances music? No doubt this will inspire countless knock-down, drag-out, chicken-slash-egg-style ruminations among you. And, of course, there's no shortage of the usual tomfoolery that keeps you coming back week after week. Unless you're new. In that case, welcome! Remember to like, star, and subscribe us whenever that feels appropriate. And send us your emails at thebeervengers@gmail.com if you have any questions, suggestions, or if you just like hearing us talk about you on the show. And now, without further ado, please enjoy episode 26, Motherpucker 2, a symphony of sour.
Well, we're the beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers. We're the Beer Vengers.
Yeah. Welcome to the Beercast, everyone. Coming to you from an undisclosed location in Astoria, Queens, I am Captain Porter Brown Stout.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location on the west side of Manhattan town, this is Hophead Huck, also known as the Pale Male.
And coming to you from an undisclosed location in the county of Kings, it is I, the Beer Wonder!
Hey y'all, it's Motherpucker coming from an undisclosed location in upstate Manhattan.
And we are the
Beer
Vengers. Yeah, we're the Beer Vengers.
We're going to change our name to NSYNC.
Yeah. That'll make a lot more sense than my choice, Boys to Men. Welcome to the Beercast, all the Beer Vengers out there in all the various states and our international waters. Well, I don't know if you're in the international waters, but you're near some of them.
We get a lot of listeners out in the middle of the sea. They
might be, yeah. That might be some of the ones that show up as undetermined.
We don't know, right?
There might be people. Well, I was going to say cruise ships. I don't think they're back in business quite yet, are they?
Exactly. It's undisclosed locations. They're doing this better than we
That's
are.
Right. But yeah, we've got a great show coming up. As you noticed, we're welcoming back from. Well, you'll fix this in Huck-Ups next week if I get this wrong. I think from episode 12, we've got Motherpucker. I was going to say in the house, but of course we're not in a house together. But Motherpucker is here again, and we're so happy to have her back. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm so stoked to be back. I had so much fun last time, and I feel like that I did something right last time to be asked back. Either that or you just ran out of guests and you're digging deep. Either way, I'm happy to be here.
No, we've been scheming to have you back ever since you were there to figure. Well, you know, we don't want to offend any of the other ones who haven't come back. So
yeah, we've been meaning to have Nutpool.
Yeah,
on. He's just got a crazy schedule. I mean, I don't know if he's blowing me off. Sometimes he's a pretty important guy.
Yeah, he is important.
It's a big deal. People know him.
Yes. But this week we've got Motherpucker, and we're very glad she's here. We have all sorts of great things planned. We have a few interesting discussions. We're going to talk about our week. We might have a trip to my officer's basement. But before we do any of those things, everyone, let's get to the pours.
Absolutely.
Right?
And with having Motherpucker here is great because that really gives me a chance to try out some new funky beers. So if you don't mind, I'd like to go ahead and
but we do mind.
Yeah, I mean seriously, how many times do we have to go through this charade?
Every time, I guess.
Every time, yeah, it's part of our
apparently.
Except last week, but I mean, really, either that or just a short-term memory.
When it was just the three of us, I think we just got confused and complacent.
Yeah, we're a little out of sorts here.
Why don't we let the Motherpucker?
Well, yeah, she's our guest.
Exactly. It would only be polite.
Absolutely. Be our guest and be our first pour this week, Motherpucker.
Oh, y'all are so polite. Appreciate that. So One I have for tonight is from Bell's in Michigan.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's called Flamingo Fruit Fight. It's a tart ale brewed with passion fruit and lime. So I'm a sucker for anything with an animal on the label. Obviously, I'm just one of those people. But it's delicious. I discovered it last week. I was doing some research, and apparently it's only available in February and March. So it's not going to be available to me for much longer, but I quite enjoy it. So I shall
Made
go
it
ahead.
all the way here.
Take a look.
Right.
Oh boy.
You'll raise her up a little bit there.
Oh, it's got
Ooh.
good orangey color. Really
Yeah.
orange.
Electric.
Mhm.
It's really pretty.
What were those fruits again? That looks mango-y.
Passion fruit and lime.
Okay, so
Mm,
that passion fruit color is really coming through.
absolutely. And it's got a really tight head on it, which is lovely to see.
That's gorgeous.
That's can't see through it. That's going to be juicy and delicious. I
Oh,
bet.
it's so good.
Mm.
Who else has got something?
Well, Huck, you were so excited, and
Well,
I
I'll tell
really should let you go next.
we,
I'll tell you
we
what.
really burst your bubble. so-
I'm hitting all the points. Well, this one is actually
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let me
It's,
try that again.
yeah,
My beer today
can you
is going
sum
to
that up
be
for me again, would you?
Okay. Well, I got a great beer. This is actually came from a certain place, so it is a.
Sponsored pour.
That's right. And this
There we
is
go.
from Catskill Brewing.
Oh,
It's called Freak Tractor Farmhouse Ale, and it's this is a Model 14, I guess. There's not a lot of information on the internet about Catskill, but I'm really excited to have them because I've already liked this brewery. They're kind of a low key. We could talk a little bit more about them later
Good
on.
crack.
But this one is made with 100% Brettanomyces
Brettanomyces?
yeast.
That
Yes, I'll rely on you to say the right word.
I'll cover it later.
And so I'm expecting some funkiness here, some sour action. So here we go. Let's take a look.
Ooh, Brett has done his work on this one.
Oh, yeah.
Look at
Nice.
that. Good straw color, but also I can't quite tell. Is this clear? Because the carbonation is pretty active on this bad boy.
Yeah, it's pretty clear. There's a slight haziness to it.
Okay.
I know unfortunately I have a light that has a purple hue to it, so it's throwing off the lighting. I hold it.
But it's still but that gold.
Yeah, it's got a
right
sort of
there,
traditional
really.
gold color to it. Yeah,
Yeah, gorgeous.
very good.
nice
Very pretty
nose. Yeah.
color.
Mhm.
All
right,
right.
well-
So who else is going? Oh, and I
Cap-
forgot to say, animal on the can.
Yes, I saw.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Mhm.
I'm a big fan of that brewery, and I stopped in there on a recent road trip. Well,
Oh, yeah?
not so recent, but I was like, raccoons! Sweet, we got to stop there.
Very nice.
And I was not disappointed. Some great beers.
Well, Captain, I feel like now is your time.
Oh, sure. I guess I will. Yeah, I am so used to going last. Yeah, let's mix it up a little bit. Let's
I
go
know.
crazy. Let's go wild.
Motherpucker's
Okay.
here.
So yes, actually, this is we've been wanting to have her back anyway, but a couple weeks ago, I was in our sponsor, Story Beer and Cheese Ditmars at 35-11 Ditmars, and I saw a beer there, and I said, "Well, I'm going to get this one, and this is the one I'm going to have when Motherpucker comes back." It is a collaboration between
Aha.
Evil
Oh.
Twin and Omnipollo, and I've been rolling it the way you guys have trained me to.
Boy.
This is
Mhm.
let's
Those are
see.
two decadent brewery names.
This
right there.
deli needs a bigger double kiwi lime coconut muffin lassi goza royal treatment.
That is
All
correct.
What?
And look at that can art. Nothing but happy faces all over the place. They're winking at me. I
Yeah,
love
that's
it.
that's
Oh.
sort of that's the way the Omnipollo logo got sort of sucked into the Evil Twin machine.
I love
Oh.
it.
Fantastic.
I can't wait for this, Captain. This is going to be amazing.
Oh, here we go.
This is gonna have some color to it, I think.
Uh-huh, I
Absolutely.
can't- Oh, and check that. Oh, wow. Much
Hello.
clearer and
Whoa.
brighter than I thought it would be.
Not what I was expecting.
Yeah.
I'm seeing green. Is that?
I am too. I think it's starting to disappear into my green screen.
Yeah, exactly. But goodness, I mean, and almost no head formation on that one.
That's
which is
true.
Really interesting.
Oh, this would have been good for St. Patrick's Day. This is definitely a green beer.
Right.
Exactly.
Wow.
I
That
mean,
is
it's,
some
it's holding
color.
up to the green screen better than the that Big Ellis
Right.
can.
Can,
All right, what do you have,
exactly.
Beer Wonder?
Well, see, here's the thing. A Motherpucker was coming back, and as many of you know, this is a journey into sours for me in many ways this year. So I had a very special one that unfortunately we did not get to drink the last time you were here, but I've been saving knowing that you would be coming back. This is a holiday fruited sour from our dear friends at KCBC. It is known as the Jingle Zombie Fruited Sour. and it looks a little something like that. You can see he's
very fun zombie elf
Back
can.
to the holidays here, yeah.
Exactly. We're keeping it holiday. So this is a sour ale with cranberry, tangerine, and plum, and it is made with barley and wheat.
Okay.
So it's gonna be.
Now, I've had some of the other zombies. These are really good. They're always really fruity and super tart.
They've got a beach zombie that I saw they just brought out that I have not had a chance to get my hands on, but this one's going to be very different color wise. So let's take a look at that.
Oh, so
Oh,
pretty!
yeah. Seeing that
Pretty
pink.
in pink.
Mm-hmm. It's got like
Almost
a
like
grape,
ruby red grapefruit color.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Definitely.
Big old fluffy head on there.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want. And
Look
the fruit
at
is
that. All
right,
right.
there. It's right there.
I feel like I can smell it from here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, I'll do my can shot. Here we go.
All right. Oh,
Perfect.
Cheers.
cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Love it.
Oh, that's very nice.
Ooh.
This definitely has a funk to it. It's a kind of a traditional farmhouse, and it's one of those ones you're sort of like, oh, what's going on? You got to kind of get used to it a little bit if you're not used to drinking farmhouse or saisons. Very much on the nose, though. Correct. Coming correct. I do like Catskill. They're really they're hidden away, and we do get them in the city. Obviously, we got this at our sponsor,
Yes, sir.
and but I think they self-deliver. I talked to the delivery guy recently. Recently meaning 2019, and they deliver themselves. So they don't have a distributor. So they're really under the radar. But they make great beers, and I want to visit the brewery. You have to tell us about that visit, MP.
I think a road trip is in the works when we can start doing those kinds of things again.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Any day now.
Yes.
It's not that far away. It's relatively close.
Yeah. A couple hours.
Well, I'll be honest, friends. I'm basically just drinking fruit juice, so it's been nice knowing you. I mean, it's only like 4%, but I cannot taste a lick of alcohol, and it just is this delicious, like plum holiday, sweet sour magic. Like I would drink this for lunch and not know it was a beer. I'm kind of in love.
Oh, good, good. And I think that KCBC, they really have, over time, have become a real, really known for their sours, especially the zombies, and they also have the Marble of Doom, and they make a couple of other special sours. So they've really become pretty well known for those. Even though they make
I don't
the
think
other
I've
styles
had one that I didn't like. I think every KCBC I've had has been special in some way or another.
Nice, yeah.
And they do often keep the animal theme going, of course, with their usual mascot being an octopus.
Oh, check the can. There might be a penguin on there or something.
Let's take a look. No, I just see a very angry zombie who seems to have beheaded a number of children. There's fire and death. And
all my favorite
and
things.
a turkey leg. And a turkey leg.
No octopus.
I'll keep looking, but I don't see it.
All right, so we've got a Christmas meets the Ren Fair kind of vibe going.
Yeah.
Christmas meets the rent for get that turkey leg. Indeed.
It's interesting. This one, you were talking about the one that just basically it's fruit. I feel like some of the evil twins are that way. Like the Even More Hydra that you graciously shared with us. I had that, and it was just like, it's not. I didn't even really taste like a sour. It's like, and that's not a criticism. It's just like it just didn't even feel like this is just something very fruity.
It was pure decadence with the marshmallow in there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This one is really like tastes like. I remember Motherpucker you saying last time how you were such a big fan of like the Sour Patch Kids. This is as reminiscent of that, of like sour candy. This is milk sugar, kiwi, coconut, lime, sea salt, marshmallow, vanilla, and cocoa.
Marshmallow.
Now, I'll be honest, the cocoa's not coming out very strong to me, but that marshmallow thing I think is part of what's reminding me of those of the sour candies. I think that's the element that's really informing it that way. Really
I want to try that.
Yeah,
that
marshmallow
sounds really
is
interesting.
They say marshmallow is the new milk sugar.
Yeah, I do love a salted beer. I do love a beer, especially a sour that has a little extra salt in it. I always feel like it adds that little extra something to it.
A good goza is so refreshing and satisfying on so many levels.
I had one the other day that had not a goza, but a beer from I think it was Stillwater.
Sure.
And it was a stout, but it had salted caramel in it.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah.
You know who makes one of my favorite gozas is Six Point. You know,
Uh-huh.
for local breweries, I'm a big fan of Six Point, and their summer jammers are always so
Yes.
delicious.
And
Very quaffable.
we're getting onto summer jammer time. I feel like we've already
I'm
started.
ready for it.
I mean,
Now,
it's
Motherpucker,
raining outside my
we
window.
have had sour beers on the show
Yes.
outside
Without
of the
me,
Motherpucker episodes. I think one or two. There was
Yeah,
that
that's true.
even more Hydra.
Mhm.
One. There's been one.
I feel a little sad about that,
I bought a
honestly.
Gozo once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and this is talking about sours and
Dubs had a
sodas,
Gozo.
and we could talk about lambics and all of that. This was something that when Beer Wonder was doing his Beer Wonder delivery service
Yes.
a couple of weeks ago, and we were having lunch outside in the beautiful backyard at Story Beer and Cheese Ditmars, 35-11 Ditmars, and we were there. We were talking about the difference between what is a sour and what is technically a sour and what's in the sour family. And so, have you had a chance to look that up? I get a little more info on that, Beer Wonder.
Well, I mean, sour beer sort of is the oldest type that we've got in history because before pasteurization and sterilization, sort of everything just got sour. And so today, generally, when you're thinking about a sour beer, what we've done is we've added something into the process in order to sour it. It could be our buddy Brett, who's been hanging out with Huck today, which is that Brettanomyces, which will sour basically anything. In fact, when brewers are brewing, if they are using Brett as a part of their process, either they'll do it in a disposable barrel, just so they can get rid of him because he hides in corners and is a nasty little bastard to get rid of, or they'll dedicate a full fermentation tank to him. But since Brett takes a while to do his job, often a lot of groups, especially KCBC, and my beer did that today, uses a program known as kettle souring, where they basically bring the temperature down a little bit, and then we'll introduce a little bit of usually lactobacillus in, or sometimes maybe Brett, to allow it to do its work in a small contained environment, so you're not destroying everything and doing the whole full process. So kettle souring tends to be kind of what we traditionally think of today as a soured beer. But if you can imagine, before we'd figured out how to clean everything, most of your beers would probably have been up Motherpucker's alley a little bit, because that's just, science, man. Excuse me, God. Because until pasteurization, we thought God was just blessing everything and filling us with holiness, which honestly, I'm still okay with.
Bless it.
Bless it.
Whatever word you want to use to explain the universe,
Exactly.
Because even science acknowledges that they only that we even now we understand more than we did 10 years ago. There's always something that's unexplained.
And then sometimes you just take a sip of that beer and you feel blessed because it is so perfect in every single way.
Well, Motherpucker, we have not heard about your blessed drink. So tell us, how's this one running?
It's really delicious. It's 5% ABV. Okay. It's a lot lower than the one that I had last time I was on. It's thick and juicy, and it's got probably a little bit more lime than passion fruit, but it's not too sweet. It's got a little bit of the hoppiness to just kind of balance it out. It's a really refreshing, delicious beer.
I think this is our first Bell's as well. Is it?
Is it really?
It is not.
I apologize.
No. It's our very first sponsored pour ever was a Bell's.
Oh, funny!
How cool!
I remember now.
Yeah, it was a Bell's Old Fashioned porter, meaning it was aged in some kind of, whether it might have been like brandy barrels, because it was like a porter that was supposed to taste like an old fashioned.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I had never seen Bell's at my little grocery store in their little beer cooler, but I saw this. Obviously, it was the label that caught my attention, and I thought, oh, Bell's, that's an interesting one that I have not really had any experience with. So I picked it up, and I am not disappointed at all.
Yeah, they're always on. I mean, they've become a bigger company now, so they're not as cool, but they're always put out a good product, and they're still independently owned, so they can still be cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they've been the progenitors of things like the Two Hearted, which kind of started that Midwest IPA trend a little bit, and and also bringing it back to Michigan from whence we had our most recent friend,
Cowbell.
Cowbell, yes.
The Cowbell.
The Cowbell, excuse me.
Mr. Cowbell to you.
Also a musician, a music person, music lover.
Yes. And I want to get to that, but I did want to just say one more thing because I'm still a little unsure on the whole what is a sour. So a goza is a sour.
I would say so.
So there
is a lambic a sour?
Yes, alembic is a sour. So there is no apparently definitive type of sour. So it is really.
Is there any beer you can think of that has a fruit adjunct that is not considered a sour?
Sure.
What?
I can offhand. There's just fruited beers, fruited ales, like for example the Blue Point blueberry ale, going back to the aughts there. I mean, that was just a blueberry flavored beer, and there's other ones like that too. There's a lot of fruited IPAs, milkshake IPAs.
Yeah.
So I guess what that means is all fruited beers are not sours,
right?
But almost all sours are fruited beers.
Well, or
I wouldn't say that.
I would say oftentimes we really like the flavors we get when we add fruit to sours. So I'm thinking about, we were talking about gozas. One of my buddies at Five Boroughs do an excellent goza as well, and they often fruit that in a variety of different ways because it tastes really good. Where, for example, their Tiny Juicy IPA, which is also one of my favorites, which we've had on the show, has a fruity character to it and wouldn't taste particularly good with extra fruit in it. But so the real definition for a sour beer is that it is using a yeast of some sort that is creating a sour flavor with the grain itself. So the flavor is from the yeast and less from anything that we necessarily added to it on top of that.
Interesting.
But there's, but like we get American wild ales, which are some of my favorite ones, where they just throw Brettanomyces in. People who do those like cool ships where they just put beer out in like an old apple orchard and let whatever shows up just do its thing. Like that's where the cool, crazy stuff gets to happen.
Yeah, when you see the word wild ale, that's going to be a sour. And there's a lot of traditional sours, like the stuff that like Hermit Thrush is known for. Just their sour ales, and they've got the bacteria, the I'm bad at saying the words, but the
Lactobacillus and Brettanomyces are the two.
Thank you. Lactobacillus and Brettanomyces. If they're in there, you don't, and if they're done well and aged right, then you don't need to add fruit. And I think the fruit thing just sort of came up in the past, 10 years or so. Just like get them in there, fruit them up. Maybe they were too sour for people. They said, well, give them some fruit with it, and it'll balance it.
I like to think it's just making sure that we're getting our vitamin C, because generally beer doesn't have those nutrients in them.
Very important.
Exactly. I mean, we could technically live off of beer, and honestly, I'm ready to try. But you do need, like, I hear scurvy's a bitch. So
you can go back as far as the Belgian wit ale, which was generally made with orange peel.
Hops are also good for you. No, talking about. I'm sorry. I didn't. That wasn't. I'm topic apart here. No, because he was talking about the vitamin C, and I was saying that hops have nutritional value as well.
So basically, we all win.
Yes,
everybody wins.
I'm sorry,
Huck. I was so focused on that because I remembered a few years back when I was in a tour of the Stouts Brewery in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, and that Ed Stout was telling us about the qualities of like basically people who drink a lot of beer may not live quite as long as people who drink no beer, but people who drink a little beer live longer than people who drink no beer. Right. So what he was saying was an IPA keeps the doctor away.
Okay,
good words.
It should be an added part to that. All right. Well, I'll work on that for next week. Yeah. Let me see that beer you got there again. A Beer Wonder. That's got like, it almost looks like a Bloody Mary.
I love that color so much.
Yeah. I mean, it is really truly fruit juice. And they're using a souring yeast, of course, but there is this barley and wheat element to it, and the wheat really lightens up the body.
Okay.
It gives me that like kind of blue moon character to it, that really lightness, that really refreshing quality, which is really nice with all the fruit on top of it. There's almost like a pie feel. Like I could definitely see this as a dessert beer next to like a Christmas turkey, like our little zombie friend has in his hand here. So when we're back at Ren fairs, maybe I'll smuggle some of this in and drink that with my turkey legs.
Love it. Yeah, there's not a lot of information on the Freak Tractor. It's a great name.
It's a great
Uh,
name.
and just the fact that I know it's model 14 because I looked online, but there's nothing on the can to indicate that this is the 14th iteration. And they're just not really great at their social media, but they're good at the beer, so that's what's important. And this is 6.4% for the kids out there.
You know, it's funny when you mentioned the turkey leg and the Ren Fair. One of the things that reminds me of like Ren Fairs, they always have so many great drinking songs.
They do.
Yes, they do.
And in fact, Motherpucker, I think you wanted to talk a little bit about the connection between beer and music.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for entertaining me on this suggested topic
I
because
think it's a great topic.
as you know, I love beer, I love music, I love animals because I buy beer with animals on the labels, but music is just one of my favorite things in my life. And so when the idea was presented that I could pick the topic, let's talk about songs about beer because there are countless songs about beer. So, you drink some beer, you feel inspired, you pen out a great song, and some of the most classic musics, what is that? Classic songs that we have, it's like the beer's already getting to me, come from people drinking. Not always beer, but you think of some of the most classic songs that everybody knows are about drinking. And that is why I picked this topic, and you all have been assigned or self-selected a song about beer. And my hope was that you would listen to the song and kind of pick it apart and talk about why you like it or why you think it's impactful or special. And let's have a discussion about it.
Heck yeah. Kick us off. What do you what song is what song do you have in mind?
So for me, my favorite song about drinking, or at least my favorite one right now, because like anybody, your music, your favorite song shifts just based on how you're feeling, what your mood is.
Of course.
Right now, the song that's really speaking to me is by Waylon Jennings, and it's called Drinkin' and Dreamin'. And it's a song about escapism. It's a man who's trapped and he can't get out of his situation. And so the song is just him sitting at a bar getting drunk until he envisions himself, 1,000 miles out of his mind is one of the lines of the song. And it's just a beautiful and sad song, but it really resonates with me. It was one of my mom's favorite songs when I was growing up. And it's always been a part of my life. And sometimes when I'm just feeling sad and I'm just like, God, I wish I could go anywhere but here right now. That song is so relatable on so many levels. And I hope if you haven't heard it, I hope you listen to it because it's worth a listen for sure.
Now we have a Beer Avengers playlist on Spotify. I mean, where do we find it? I mean, it's on my page, but it's on your page. It's just
called
out there.
It's called Beer Avengers the Playlist.
Not to be confused with Beer Vengers Assemble. That's someone else's list altogether, and it's weird. And I couldn't quite figure. No, I just say don't look at that one. Or if you can make sense of it, listen to it and explain it to us because I saw that and I'm like, I haven't. There's some weird stuff here.
But I bet you'll be able to find a link to it at thebeervengers.com. So if you need to listen along,
we'll put that in the next installment of
Drinking and Dreaming
blog.
Mine isn't along the same lines. My song today is "I Like Beer" by the great Tom T. Hall. Now, if you don't know Tom T. Hall, he's a classic country songwriter. I'm not like a huge country music guy, but I mean, some of the Tom T. Hall stuff just speaks to me. It sings to me. I love his songs. I love his lyrics. And he was known as the storyteller. He was a Nashville songwriter. He did write songs for like Johnny Cash, Patsy Cline. Nothing really of note. I mean, I'm sure there's some songs that are great, but it was in the mid '60s. There was a #1 song for Jeannie C. Riley called Harper Valley PTA. If you know that song,
that one.
Yeah. And it was the theme to the movie, right? The Harper Valley PTA movie,
and a brief TV show as well.
That's right.
It was a sitcom.
Yeah, and I think was it Barbara Eden was in it,
yes.
or there you go. Oh, no need to check the hookups this time.
Hey.
Now, Tom, he wrote the song. He had written it because he writes these story songs. He's classic for these. And then after that, once he had that song, he did his own version of it, and then he started to get a lot of his own airplay. And one of his biggest hits was called "I Love." Now, you guys know this one.
Yes.
And when I was a kid, like 10 years old, my Uncle Bob had a lot of country records, and he would play them, and he had this I love, and I just would like play that again, because I love absurdity. I love just silliness. And this song, he says, I love little baby ducks, old pickup trucks, tomatoes on the vine, and onions. Like what? Why are you including onions? I mean,
that's a good question.
Like, what? What? Play that again.
It's like he's looking around the room and selecting objects. Right. Little baby ducks, and it rhymes with pickup trucks and tomatoes on the vine. And
on the vine.
What else is in tomato
Very
sauce?
specific.
And oregano. I love oregano.
And then, of course, it leads to him saying, and I love you too. So it's a love song, you know. But anyway, I love that song. And it wasn't until later that I started to get more into his songs. There's another song he did called Old Dogs, Children, and Watermelon Wine.
I love that song. That's
like
so
gold.
Great.
It's the theme of it is that he is at the end of a night, he's on tour or something, and he's sitting alone in the hotel bar, and this old black man comes up and talks to him and sits down with him, and it's like it's fairly inappropriate, but good-hearted. You know,
times were different back then.
Oh my gosh. And that's a beauty. And then of course there's I Like Beer. And if I could read a little bit of the lyrics.
Oh, please.
Yes.
I think I'd like to, even though he's got a country twang, I'd like to do this in an Irish accent if I could. So I go,
why not?
I like beer. It makes me a jolly good fellow. I like beer. It helps me unwind. And sometimes it makes me feel mellow. Whiskey's too rough. Champagne costs too much. Vodka puts my mouth in gear. This little refrain should help me explain. As a matter of fact, I like beer. So there you go.
It's so good. It is such a classic jam. I love it. And if you look online, there's a video of him singing it live, and it's really special.
And he's got a ton. He's got a ton of songs like that. They're just so great. So fun. He's almost a forgotten guy, you know, like not really, but you know, he's really deserves.
Is he still around?
I believe he died fairly recently. We'll check the hookups on that later.
Okay. Yeah, because he's reminding me a little of what's the name of the guy? Loudon Wainwright.
Yeah,
similar.
There's
style.
A similarity there. Yeah. And there's a genuineness to the Tom T. Hall songs that you might not think is there because it's so silly, but he's so sincere, you know. I gotta check that.
Well, it was apparently with Loudon Wainwright for a long time. He was, he's written about all sorts of things, but he was best known for his Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road.
Tom T. Hall is a living man.
All right, we don't have to wait till next week for that.
84 years old.
I'm quite surprised. I thought he was also.
Sorry, Tom.
Moved on.
Sorry, Tom. He's still going.
Our respects. Our respects to Tom T. Hall.
Oh, Tom. I'd love to see him. I assume he's not touring anymore.
It says years active. The last year active was 2011. So he's probably just enjoying retirement these days.
Yeah. Maybe the occasional county fair.
Maybe. Hopefully he's just sitting at home drinking beer because that's what he likes.
That's what he likes.
Exactly. He's earned it. Along with onions and tomatoes on the vine.
Tomatoes on the vine.
And the little baby ducks. And you. And I almost forgot saying you too.
Love you too. I mean, that's a big influence. That song is such a big influence on me as a songwriter. It's just, let me think of the silliest things I can and put them in a song.
Yeah.
Well, I had to ask for an assignment this week because, as we have well established, the Beer Wonder has a huge deficit of cultural knowledge. And so I did ask Motherpucker to give me a song. And Motherpucker, would you like to tell the folks at home what you selected for me?
Sure. As we further the cultural education of Beer Wonder, I picked one of the classics that I'd be hard-pressed to believe there's anyone in the world who doesn't know this song. There's a Tear in My Beer by the late, great Hank Williams.
Yeah.
Truly a classic. Now, I know you have a really deep personal connection to this one, especially. You want to talk about that? Because then I can chime in on, like, this was a delightful one for you to pick for me for a couple of reasons.
Sure. So I was introduced to this song as a very young child. My grandfather, may he rest in peace, was a professional drinker, and that was ultimately what led to his demise. but he loved songs about booze as well. And I was a little kid. He would sing the song to my little brother and I, and we really had no idea what it was about. We weren't bothered by matters of the heart and getting drunk and drowning your sorrows or any of that. So he would sing that song to us, and so we always grew up knowing the lyrics to this song. And so anytime I hear it, I still kind of get a case of the warm and fuzzies, just thinking about my grandfather singing to his very young grandchildren about just getting drunk and pining over somebody.
Yeah, because it's a very dark song. Like
It
he's
is.
within, I believe, the second go around of this one. I think he says he's like 9 beers in. No, it's the first. It's the first go round. Yeah, there's a tear in my beer because I'm crying for you, dear. You're on my lonely mind. Into these last 9 beers, I've shed a million tears. You are on my. Yeah, it's like
You're
that's
on
how
my
we
lonely
start.
mind is the refrain.
That's
Yeah.
just how we keep going. And the reason I laughed when I got a Hank Williams song is that back in previous secret identities that I've had, I was in school and was regularly asked to sing as a part of my classwork. And we were asked specifically to do country songs. And everyone's coming in with like contemporary stuff and, things like that. And I wanted to be the rebel child. And also I wanted to do something funny. So I started digging through. And what did I show up with on my first day as my introduction to my take on country music was Hank Williams' Move It On Over, because I thought there was nothing greater than being thrown into the doghouse and having to continuously explain why I was rolling over in that. So to loop it back to Hank made me really happy, but I was trying to figure out why I wasn't super, because I listened to a decent amount of Hank Williams when I was trying to pick something for this class. And I was trying like, why didn't this one show up? Well, probably because I was under legal drinking age and they wouldn't have loved me singing about heartbreak and booze in college.
They're the ones who assigned country music. What the hell?
That's true. Well, and in fairness to the flip side of that, I did do a little bit of Cigarettes and Chocolate Milk for another contemporary version of that one, and that one's about all kinds of things. But one of the things I learned in digging into this is that apparently when Hank originally recorded this, he recorded this in the 50s and decided not to release it. And so it did seem to come to prominence when his son, Hank Williams Jr., put it out in 1988. And he did a very cool music video, again, continuing my education, where he kind of mashed himself up with footage of his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what Natalie Cole did with her dad?
Yes,
exactly. It's actually pretty wonderful. And I found it on YouTube and watched it a couple times because it's pretty mesmerizing, because he sort of starts it off and then a door opens and his dad shows up and then they're singing together. And it's really, really touching and beautiful that both of these guys are sort of like sobbing their eyes out into their ears together and having this kind of connection across time. And of course, it being such a cool, example of this, it won Best Music Video, Country Music Awards, and the chart, it started topping the charts. It was number 7, I think, on the Billboard list the year it came out, or the country music list the year it came out. So I felt kind of charmed by that. I love the idea of being able to connect through time with someone over a beer in whatever your kind of preferred art form was. So as charming and wonderful as the song is, and as much as I kind of like have a soft spot for Hank because of my own history, this one really, really charmed me because there was that almost like historic psychic connection between the two of them in this video. So if you are like me being introduced to this one, I can't highly recommend a quick YouTube search and to take a moment to watch the music video connected to There's a Tear in My Beer by our delightful Hank Williams.
Nice.
It's so special. It really gave that song such a new life and introduced it to a whole new generation of people. And yeah, I remember I was 10 years old when that version came out. And I just remember I thought it was so cool that they could do that, and just thinking about that relationship that they had. And one other thing that you pointed out that I want to just say is, when you said there's so many, when you were tasked with looking up your own country music when you were younger, and you're like, there's so many contemporary songs out there, and you wanted to dig deeper.
Yeah.
You could do a search right now. Contemporary country music right now has the monopoly on songs about beer. Seriously, it's insane. Every other song in current country music is about beer in a very different way. I feel like now it's about partying and red Solo cups and beer runs and whatever. Mm-hmm. But the songs about beer in the old country days were really about kind of sadness and drinking away your pain, and like just carried a completely different meaning than the songs that are out there now.
I was just learning about Hank Williams recently, and that he was known as a hillbilly Shakespeare,
Mhm.
wrote all these great songs, like classic songs that even today are known as people cover them all the time. And he died at the age of 29.
I know.
It's incredible to me that he had such and if you see pictures of him, he looks so mature in these pictures, and I guess that was part of it. He was aging quickly, so yeah, something else.
All right, Captain, I guess that means you're up.
Okay, so it was interesting. I was thinking about this very, like I mentioned as our segue into this about Ren fairs. I have always associated Ren fairs because the end of the day is the pub sing, and we all have a beer and we sing a song. And the before we decided how we were going to open this show, I had a song called Beer that was a Ren Fair song that I was going to use as our opening song. And I played it for you guys and I told Huck, well, unless you want to come up with something, because I know he'd been playing around on his ukulele for a lot. That was part of a big part of his quarantine life.
Mhm.
And then the next week he had it. It's like, okay, no, we're doing that one. But this one was his song. The refrain is just beer, 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 beer. And it's just all about the history of beer. But then I was looking at your playlist, and I saw the Tom Waits thing on there. And even though warm beer and cold women, I think that's there just because beer's in the title. But it just got to me thinking about how he's one of my very favorites. I would say he's in my top two. And so much of his music is just about bar life, just about hanging out in bars. And in fact, he's got one called Closing Time. Actually, Leonard Cohen, my number two, also has a song called Closing Time. But the one that I associate with him is not specifically about beer, but just like near the end of the evening. One of my very favorite songs ever is "The Piano Has Been Drinking." Because it's kind of like I was thinking about it more the more Huck was talking about the sort of like the silly songs, and this is about a guy who's playing the piano and stumbling through it, and he's mixing all his metaphors, and the refrain is because the piano has been drinking, not me. Like and it's there's a really great if you go to YouTube and look for "The Piano Has Been Drinking Fernwood Tonight." Look for that because there was a TV show that Martin Mull and Fred Willard hosted as these characters in a small town.
Oh, yeah.
But people would come but they would host it in character but have real celebrity guests. I think
Great
the premise is the show was near the airport. And so even though it's a small town, they were near the airport. So these are like people on layovers, so that it would be like, so Tom Waits would come in and he'd sing the song and he'd do an interview with them. And it's just one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
Oh, that's great. I'll look for that.
And Huck, do I detect that perhaps you're getting a little thirsty?
I'm getting a little dry over here, brother. Yeah, indeed. I have a second beer to pour. Now, last week we had the captains made the statement that we haven't any beers from Connecticut. Turns out it wasn't completely true.
Yes.
We did have a beer from Connecticut. It was in episode, I believe, 6, our pumpkin episode. You had Abomination Brewing's Forbidden Pumpkin, which is from North Haven, Connecticut. And
now you're not going to do all the hookups before I get to do my second pour, do you? This is just
no. This is just the one.
I do want to mention that in our secret communication layer that we hold among the three primary beer vendors here, there was a long and detailed discussion of this that I got to witness, and it brought great joy to my heart.
It was fun, yeah.
But we did decide we did have a Connecticut beer, but you know what? It's next door, so we haven't had enough. And I'm always traveling through Connecticut, so I said this time when I travel to Connecticut, I'm gonna get some beers. So I did, and I have a beer today here. It's called the Workhorse from Counterweight Brewing. Now, I have not had any Counterweight. So they say if you want to try a new brewery, if you're not sure about the brewery, get the Pilsner. See what the Pilsner's like. If they make a great Pilsner, everything else is probably going to be good. So let's give it a shot. This is the Workhorse from Counterweight Brewing in the town of, should have memorized this before I started. Get my other glasses here. I got it. Hamden, Hamden, Connecticut.
Oh, very good.
If you've been, and there are. Oh, it's jumping out of the can.
Good crack.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's jumping right out. Okay, that's. I hope that's a good sign. There's a lot of great breweries in Connecticut, and I'm gonna make up for that loss in the next few weeks. We're gonna do more Connecticut beers. Let's see what we got going. It's
Oh, gosh.
it's
Look at
pouring
pills.
healthy. It's going right in there.
Nice
Wow.
and straw. Yeah, good head
Nice
retention.
straw-colored pills. Yeah.
Pretty clear, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah,
I know I got
Yeah.
the purple light. If I hold it back a little, there you go.
I
That's
know.
what more
It
actually
changes the
looks
white
like.
balance. But no, that's exactly that like crisp, clear straw situation you want to see. And a decent sized head on it as well, which is
Yeah.
really nice. Big bubbles, it looks like.
A nice
Big
Pilsner.
bubbles, big bubbles. Workhorse. So there you go. We're getting notch up another Connecticut beer.
Very good.
Well, heck yeah.
There you go.
Heck yeah, counterweight. There you go. There you go, counterweight. Yeah, baby, that's good.
Well, I'm starting to realize that, oh dear, I'm empty as well.
Oh,
I'm
boy.
psyched. I love it when I
Um,
get a nice pills. It's got the German style pills, but it's or Czech style, and it's got that American flair, baby. And I just do my little dance, my little Pilsner dance.
Woohoo.
It's a nice
That's a
dance.
good dance. That's a really good dance.
I am digging it.
It's a
Now
shame the world can't see it.
I'm digging on counterweight. I want to get more of them now. Very good. All right. Well, there you go. That's just, and that doesn't count as hookups. That was just so we could get that in.
No, well, it does count, but now you have less hookups to deliver later. 'cause I know you have a
Traditional
long
German
list.
ingredients, unfiltered and dry hopped with noble hops, grassy lemon citric notes, mingle with a clean German malt flavor, refined yet unfettered, aggressively hopped yet balanced, brewed to be seriously drinkable. 5% alcohol. Nice.
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 So that's good.
I'm really happy because I got 3 more of those. That's good.
Good. Don't let Cider Girl make any bread with them. I know that may be beginning of pandemic times, but if those are good drinking beers.
Absolutely.
It's good drinking beers.
Hands off, cider girl.
Yeah. And Connecticut in the house once again. Now, on that note, Jersey. We got to do something about Jersey because we've had one.
And it was a collaboration.
Right. Unacceptable. They're just over the river.
Didn't you have a carton?
It was a collaboration between Carton and someone else.
Who brewed it? Did Carton brew it or did someone else brew
You
it?
see, I'd have to go look back again, but
Okay.
it
Well, I
was-
know you got one coming up someday. You've got a
Absolutely,
couple
yes.
in your fridge.
I,
Yeah.
I,
all
I
right.
possibly have that
We're
one.
going to
yeah.
make it up to Jersey and we're going to make it up to Connecticut.
Absolutely,
Just like
There
we
lots
made
of
it up
good
to
beers.
Washington.
Yeah.
Have we had any Washington beers actually?
So we had
I
at least
hope
two.
so.
No, we had like 2 in a row. After we finally got there, we had the Watchstander Stout.
Yes.
But before that, I had that one from that place. We've had like 100.
Okay,
some
we're
beers.
good. We're good with Washington.
Yes.
There's
So
a
we
lot
got
of good beers
two
in
from them.
Washington.
Yes, but I was
Plus
so
we
glad
got
to
the
finally get
Motherpucker,
that.
so that counts as
Yeah, you got to rep my motherland for sure.
Yes.
repping.
All right. Well, I think for my second beer, I'm going to have to go down to my special place.
Uh-oh.
Where are you gonna go?
It's just across the room down into the that little creaky place that we call the
Is this me?
well, yeah. Unless you want me to play the sound
I'm gonna
bite.
play the sound.
I
No,
always like
fine.
it when it's live.
Nice. Here, let's
And
do it.
I'm
Let's
going to
do
go
it.
to the
Going to the captain's cellar, yeah. Come high water or hell, yeah. Filled with stouts and porters, made with bricks and mortars. Going to the captain's cellar, yeah.
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 So
That's
I've
the
been.
best I ever played it.
I think it's beautiful. Yes.
Sounded really good.
And sorry to make you put down your freshly poured beer for that. But
I know, really. I'm trying
I
to
ho-
drink
I
a
hope
beer
it was
here,
worth
bro.
it. It was worth it to us.
Oh, porter.
So I've been talking a lot the last few weeks about how I've got a big crate coming from Tavor. It has shipped. I will probably have it within the next week. And so I've been making an extra effort to try and sort of clear out some of the Captain's Cellar to, well, I guess you'd say I've been plundering the Captain's Cellar. I had to look at my notes to make sure I remembered that word, plundering it. And so Belgian Babe was over here for the weekend, and I said, help me make some space. And so I wound up having this 2013 Jolly Pumpkin Madruga Obscura. That had a nice little sour thing to it as well. even though it's a
Excellent.
stout. Had this thing from
2013,
Copper
wow.
Kettle. It's like a spooky hollow. It's a like a Thanksgiving theme from our friends at Perennial. Had Lunchbox Treasures, and then this stout got serious from Untitled Art. So that's like I was just sort of okay. And now I'm down to about 20 in there right now, I think.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But the one I have
Good
maybe
job.
a little bit less. Not enough room for the 40 I have coming, but there's some space in there. We're gonna work on it.
That's impressive.
So back when we had Mr. White on the show, Rick White,
Yeah.
we were talking about hang on. It wasn't when he was on here. No, yes, it was when he was on here. When he was on here, I had that Mr. Sandman, right?
Yes.
Remember the Mr. Sandman from wherever they're from? I'll get to that. Oh, the Colorado, I believe. And then a couple weeks after that, well, recently when we had the Arkansas beer, the Nighty Night beer, you were mentioning that because it was aged in so many things, it was like a Long Island iced tea, which got me thinking. I had another Mr. Sandman in my refrigerator, but this is called the Long Island barrel-aged Long Island Mr. Sandman because it is aged in let's see here, gin, rum, tequila, and whiskey barrels.
Ooh.
Plus, it's got a little orange in there too.
For spice.
I have not tried this one before, but that Mr.
picked up
Sandman
on
was
them.
so good, I just decided.
I'm intrigued.
Here we go from our friends at River North, Mr. Sandman, Long Island, barrel aged.
All right, River North.
Wow.
This is what I've been aging since October.
Yeah, this is that classic motor oil feel. I
There we
love
go.
it. And
Yeah.
Comes a little thin head.
That
All
looks
right.
thick.
Oh my goodness.
All
Yeah,
right.
there that is. Let's see it with that bottle. See, that's the glory of a bottle aged, like of an aging process with a really rich beer like that, because it's going to intensify everything so well.
Oh yeah, there's a lot going on there. Yeah,
Nice. And
and
remind
the
us-
orange is there. It's a little bit bitter, but it's mellowed by this lovely stoutiness of the whole endeavor.
Remind us where they're from.
I said Colorado, but am I wrong?
Oh, I just missed it.
Because it was because the last time I had this, I looked it up and I researched it. This time I was a little less good about that. Yeah, this is 2020 vintage. Yeah, I think it's like from a special district in Denver. I can look it up, but
All right. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's a very nice beer.
Captain Cellar, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of music, I mean, we've got our own coming at you right here. Our own beer adventures in music.
Yeah, music has always been linked with the show. It's just so is this a natural transition?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, Huck, here's the
Yes.
thing. I had to get in touch with you this week because I had some guilt towards our listening audience myself, and
Right.
since you are the arbiter of all corrections, I think it might be time to let our audience know where we Beer Avengers have failed them in
The Hucko! Oops! Ow! Whoa! Ow!
That's right. It's our segment where Huck fixes
The
all the things.
ukulele has been drinking. My necktie is asleep.
You got it. You got
Well
it
done,
right.
Captain.
You got it right. Yeah, hookups this week, they're not too egregious. We did very well actually with our facts and figures last week. Like I said, we corrected that. We had the Abomination Forbidden Pumpkin. Beer Wonder wanted to let me know the ABV on the Blessed Amber Ale was 6.1%, and it was a lovely 6.1%, I must add. And a lovely beer. I'm sorry you didn't get to try that one, Motherpucker, but there's more bottles, right?
Yeah, there's more, and there's going to be more coming soon. So
Yeah, so we could have one of our gatherings perhaps coming up soon.
Not against it.
The Shoveltown beer, that was the collab with the Mid Cape Hardware store. That was called Framework. We couldn't come up with the name Framework. That was it. The Randolph Rooftop. We talked about them opening that up, and I blurted out, "Oh, that's the Watchtower building." It's not the Watchtower building. It just happens to be one of the Jehovah's Witnesses buildings.
yes, it's
not
an
the
area
one with the Watchtower on it.
It's an area known as Dumbo Heights, which is currently owned and operated by a small business run by our dear friend Jared Kushner. Might have
Oh,
heard of him
gosh.
once or twice. I know.
But you
It's
should
okay.
go anyway.
You should
All
go
right.
anywhere and just
we'll
like
go we'll do it. We'll do it for Randolph.
stomp on him and drink some beer and shout profanities at the
And
sky.
the only other thing was is a red an amber? Is an amber a red? According to the Brewers Association, an American amber ale is interchangeable with an American red ale.
Ah.
A different category is the
Ah.
Irish red ale is a different category. There's also Belgian reds, but that's like that's very, very different. So our Belgian ambers, that's a whole different thing. So there you go. Those are this week's hookups. Not too
Very
exciting
good.
this week. We're getting better.
We are. I'm proud of us.
Interesting.
Speaking
Would've
of
been
getting
interesting
better,
if we-
I know. Or was there more there?
no.
Okay, so I'm just really excited. How we're still fighting this virus, but there's been a lot of progress moving forward.
Yeah.
And I am the only one in the panel of the four of us tonight who has not had the vaccine, and that will change by the next time I'm doing one of these things because I'm going to Citi Field tomorrow night. I'm going to reveal a little, disclose a little bit more about me, if not my location. I am over 50, which means that as of Tuesday of the week we're recording this, I became eligible to get a vaccine. And if there are any other people in that situation who are listening to this now, I know a lot of you are frustrated. At least if you're like my friends who are you're frustrated that the internet is not being very good at getting you that information.
Right.
But if you're in New York City, there's a hotline, I believe. I'll correct this if I'm wrong. I'll dub myself in if I'm wrong. But I believe the number is 877 VAX 4NYC. And so I kept trying to navigate the website, kept trying to find a place, trying to schedule something, couldn't do it. I called that number, didn't have a very long hold time at all. Got a very helpful person. First thing she gave me was 3:15 in the morning at Citi Field.
Well, that's an
well, I
option.
mean, it's great. I'm
The morning?
Is that when you're going to go? It's 3:15 a.m.?
No, it's not. The main reason is, I mean, I'd stay up for it. It's not about getting up. I'd be staying up for something like that. But I'm a little nervous about that neighborhood at 3 a.m. because it's every time I've been there, unless there's a baseball game going, even during the day, it's pretty vacant. But I said I'm a little concerned about it. She gave me a few options. Finally, she got me 7 p.m. on a Thursday night, so that's when I'm going tomorrow night.
Fantastic.
Who knows? I'm either one and done, or I'll be part one of two. But encourage any of you out there who hasn't gotten one or hasn't had it available to you, who has it available, do that soon, so we can all hang out together.
Get your shot. Don't
We
be
miss
scared.
hanging
Get
out.
your shot.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well,
There are no microchips in the shot
No.
that are going to control your brain. It is going to keep you from getting the COVID-19. So get it.
Yeah, because the
Keep you
5G
from
towers did that
spreading
already,
it.
right?
5G's already in our blood.
I mean, I already have a 5G device in my pocket at almost all times.
It's
so
not
if they
like I'm
wanted to
ever
put
going
one
to
in-
put this down.
Yeah,
They've already got us.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
So get the vaccine if you can.
Well, and I gotta say, we had here in Gotham, we had a lovely weekend. I don't know. I hope everybody had a chance to enjoy some of the beautiful weather from this past weekend, but it was a little taste, at least in my little neighborhood, of what we can expect when the world starts to open up, when it's beautiful weather and people can sort of gather in responsible groups and ways. I even took a quick walk over by Randolph and saw that they were hopping, which was great. There were people, at their appropriate tables and being very careful and wearing their masks when they weren't doing that. But it was an opportunity to see what the end of this is going to look like. And that was pretty exciting.
I'm so glad you said that, Beer Wonder, because I was walking through Central Park on Sunday on my way to work at an undisclosed location.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time since this all went down just over a year ago, I just felt like, oh my goodness, this feels normal. People are out. The bike rental people are out. People are picnicking. Everyone's wearing their masks for the most part. But people were out and they were coming together in hopefully responsible ways. But I was just walking through the park and I felt a sense of relief that better things are to come. People are starting to feel optimistic and positive about the future. And that was really satisfying to me to see.
Along those same lines, I want to ask the three of you, because I had a specific feeling I didn't necessarily expect. Do you remember the feeling you had when you first found out you were getting the vaccine? I mean, like
Yes.
either expected or unexpected or any of it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Felt
Yeah.
good.
Good,
Okay,
and
I
also
don't know if you want to elaborate anymore,
Well-
because I have a few thoughts on it.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
I
what
suffer
did-
from depression, so it was like, oh, good, I'm going to get a vaccine.
I felt a little guilty, honestly.
Yeah.
I felt a little strange because of my profession. I qualified
Yes.
early on, and part of me kind of struggled with, well, maybe I should just hang back and let what's available right now be available to people who need it more than I do. But then I also rationalize with myself that me getting it is also part of the solution.
Yeah.
That's one more vaccinated person.
Absolutely.
And if an appointment is available to me, I would be stupid not to take it.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
so that's how I navigated my own guilt through that whole thing.
Yeah,
And
we all got to get it. We all have to get it.
And ethicists have been saying this the full time, is that if you are intentionally jumping the line, it is not a time when you have an opportunity to get it, then that's problematic, right? But if you are a person who is offered the opportunity for whatever reason because of what your life circumstance is, then it's becoming your obligation to get it. And Captain, I'm so glad that your time has come up in
Yes.
this.
Well, it's interesting, the whole notion of jumping the line. There were certainly some people who were doing that, but I also heard what was even a bigger problem was people who weren't trying harder than they were to get the vaccine because they had that stigma about worried, oh, I want to let other people who need it more than I get it. And actually, if you can get it and it's legal, you should get it and have your name added to the number of percentages.
Absolutely.
And then if you still have guilt about it, look into ways where you can volunteer to help people do that. I think I didn't have really an element of that, both because I knew that and also because so many of my friends and also people I knew in other states who had lowered the age already. So I was just like, when is New York going to catch up? So I was so excited, but and so I really knew I was going to get it as soon as I possibly could. But on top of that, the feeling that engulfed me right after I got it was realizing that everything I've been doing this last year to contribute to hoping the world will get better
Mm-hmm.
has just been maintaining. It's not been a terribly active way. Oh, stay home, do nothing, don't go outside any more than you have to. Find substitutes for the things that you do. Do things like this, and then there's it doesn't seem, even though all those things are good, they don't make you feel like I did it. It's more like, yes, I can do this. I will do this. I need to do this. Whereas finding out you can get that makes you feel like I'm actually taking action to specifically be able to make things better by making my body resistant to infection in a powerful way, or getting someone to help me do that. I feel like, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do anything
100%.
that's made me feel that way in the last year, and it was pretty great.
It's nice to feel productive in that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's definitely it.
Most definitely. Well, I'm so glad to hear that good times are coming for you too. And hopefully we'll all have those good antibodies, which will mean important Beer Venger meetings will have to happen in socially distant, probably outdoor ways.
Yes.
But
Can you imagine if we could do a live in-person Beer Vengers podcast? How much fun that would be?
Yeah,
the world
let's
might
talk
break.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
What does that look like? If we all are in the same room, we would bleed into each other's microphones, right?
Or we'd have to share one microphone, or we'd have to get. I mean, it's a whole technical thing that I'm not prepared to
listen to you all with your technical stuff.
So I guess we'd have to just keep doing it this way.
It's just a fantasy at this point, I guess.
Yeah. For now, that's unless it'll be a significant investment.
We'll make it work. I'm sure that there are
for
ways
those of you who are listening. Thank you for listening in on our production meeting.
Well, I tell you, I was excited about. I was excited about getting out and getting the vaccine, and I got it, and I'm at my 2 weeks. I'm fully vaccinated.
Congratulations!
And just right at that same time, I got a horrible bone spur in my heel, and I could barely walk. So I can't go out. I can't even walk to the corner. I don't know. I thought I was okay to be vaccinated. Now this healed. I can't use my foot.
Well, hopefully the vaccine didn't cause it.
No, it's just age.
The vaccines are safe. It was probably
They're very
safe.
safe. They are.
Yes, or the
Yes.
5G towers.
I shouldn't have brought that up. Let's put that in the hookups. Cut. No, just delete that whole part.
Oh, don't worry, he won't.
Oh, I absolutely will.
Cancel culture. Cancel culture.
Cancel. No one wants to hear about your bone spurs. I almost called myself by my name there.
Don't do it.
I saw you
do it.
hesitate for a second there.
Oh, I've
No
got
one wants
another
to hear about your bone spurs, Finn.
I've got another positive thing here.
Awesome.
Not just because they're our sponsor, but because they're my favorite place to hang out. Astoria Beer and G's a couple months ago had to go back to stop being open on Mondays and Tuesdays, and they just added Tuesdays back this week.
Hey, that's great.
Yay!
So for those of you who hear about all our beers, all our sponsored pours that you want to go get, that they might, even if they're sold out of them, they're going to have great beers there. They are now open Tuesday through Sunday. Monday's the only day they're closed. They're like Broadway used to be.
Let's hang.
Excellent.
It's a great place to go, and it's good to make sure that when you're there, tip your servers extra.
I just told the what's her name? I almost called her Spider Girl. Spider Girl was just texting me, and I said, "Yeah, we're still doing the podcast." So immediately she calls me.
Yeah, that doesn't make much sense, does it?
No.
That sounds like Cider Girl.
We have a caller.
We have our first caller into the podcast. Well, that must mean that we. Does anyone have other adventures of their week in beer?
I mean, well, just to add on to what I was just saying about Astoria Beer and Cheese, you were talking about Randolph was so hopping. The Belgian babe and I actually, we did go there Sunday afternoon for lunch, but we tried to go there Saturday and we couldn't. It was all the tables. There was distance properly, but all the tables were full, so we just had to go back the next day. And that's when I got a couple beers that I'm hoping. I mentioned to you the Stillwater, and Alewife has a really good new stout out that I'm hoping to either be a sponsored pour or one I'll just pour on my own because I tasted it. It's really good.
I had a great Alewife, which was a sponsored pour, but I just drank it anyway on my own. It was Frau Holla. It was a dark lager. It was delicious, fantastic.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Real good. Well, it was so great to have Motherpucker. It's Motherpucker, right?
Whatever you want it to be. Yeah. No, I don't need the. I'm not that kind of a person.
She's
call
Motherpucker, and it's the Cowbell.
Yeah, I think that's right. Although that doesn't mean we're not going to call him Cowbell if we're feeling friendly, or CB. It's
friendly.
Some people like the, and some people it's too much work to add that extra syllable in there.
Yeah, exactly. Some of us do with the Beer Wonder. We need it there to really make ourselves feel good.
To emphasize. Mine needs no extra emphasis.
I would say it is more all right to add to delete a the than to add one when there isn't one there.
That sounds correct.
That was almost
Shakespearean. I think that's fair.
But like to go back to our music thing, it still bugs me when I hear people say the Eurythmics.
I am with you, Captain, 100%. I'm feeling you on that one.
You know what's another one? Indigo Girls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true.
There's no but they are to the point where they just accept it.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, okay, yeah. You said but yeah, they just live with it now.
Well, I think with Eurythmics, it might have actually just been a Greek word. It wasn't even a plural word. It was just like a concept.
Check
Eurythmics.
Get it, Eurythmics.
All right. Got it.
Oh, I didn't start singing. Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree?
Travel. Yeah.
Oh.
That's as much as we can get through without copyright violation.
Yeah, exactly. Then
we are flirting with the edges of that with our Hocus Pocus last week.
Well, if we ever get enough listeners where people notice, I will go in and re-edit those ones. But
I know it's like if we're so popular that we're doing
that is a problem I'm willing to deal with.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Most definitely.
Let's toy with fate a little bit, make it adventurous.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks again, Motherpucker, for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Great show.
And if dare I say it, come back anytime.
I will always come back if y'all invite me. I enjoy it. I love an excuse to drink beer with my friends.
I was thinking we need to combine Beer Vengers and see how they do with each other. But I guess maybe one of these days, one of us won't be available, and we could do that.
Y'all are gonna start a new dating service that's all based around beer.
So you have to
Called
swipe
Beer.
on
It
your
probably
beer.
will be somebody you already know.
Probably.
Well, I mean, because Beer Wonder already rhymes with Tinder and Grinder.
Oh,
There we go. So you've got everything covered right there. So not only will I be brewing and doing delivery, but now I'm matchmaking. Got it. It's a whole side hustle. We'll make this happen. I like it.
Did he just say brewing and doing?
Yeah,
Hey,
there we
did.
go. Brewing and doing.
See,
Brewing leads to
Motherpucker,
brewing
you'll
leads to doing.
take your 10% right now because we're just going to make this thing happen.
Let's do it. I'm in.
I love it. I mean, I don't even want to end the show. We're having so much fun.
Yeah.
But we could have fun after.
And
the
so can
post-show.
you, our fellow Beer Vengers. If you're enjoying the show, if you're still listening now, I hope you are. Otherwise, you hate yourself. But tell your friends, any beer groups you're in, let them know that this is something they might enjoy, and they can contact us. You can find our all of our works at thebeervengers.com. Our full archive of pour picks and episodes are all available streaming there, as well as pretty much everything we've ever done. You can email us at thebeervengers@gmail.com and reach us via social media at thebeervengers. And that's on Instagram. That's on Tinder. And that's on, is it on Tinder? No. Twitter. I meant Twitter.
Well, maybe.
Not yet.
If Beer Wonder has his way, it'll be on Tinder as well. That's a nice little cross promotion we can get. But yes,
And the Beer
on
Vengers
Instagram,
playlist.
on Twitter, on Facebook. Am I leaving anything out, Beer Wonder?
Well, I mean, here's the thing. We've got Motherpucker has delightfully curated our Beer Vengers playlist, which is
Yes.
going to be on Spotify. So make sure you check that out and head over to thebeervengers.com where we'll be sure to link to it so you can get your beer jams on while you're drinking your favorite brew.
Absolutely. All right. I think that's it for this week. Huck, you got something there for us?
Hold your head up, moving on. Keep your head up, moving on. Hold your head up. All right. Sorry. Here we go. Thanks, everybody.
Keep your head up.
Well, we're the beer Vengers, beer Vengers, beer Vengers.
We're the Beer Vengers.